Greetings and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Outpost 2 Divided Destiny, or at Plymouth Mission 3 Revelations. The grainy image covered every wall of the darkened council chamber. Randomly blasted buildings, overturned vehicles, scattered wreckage and things moving in the blind, shambling way of the dead. "Gives me the chills looking at it," said a man's voice. Emma recognized it as Councillor Kozu. "I've watched it 1,000 times these last few months," said Emma, "and I'm afraid it affects me the same way. The disaster at Plymouth we can at least understand the nature of, if not the reason why. But this is unimaginable. The colony is simply deserted, the destruction caused by, as best we can figure, random folly. And these vehicles wandering around. You're sure they're armed?" This time the voice was a husky, authoritative voice of the Councillor Salish. Emma could just make her out in the darkness, her eyes glittering in the reflected light of the screen. "We have seen them fire what appears to be a laser on at least one occasion. We believe this was triggered by a bit of wind-blown debris from one of the damaged buildings. In other words, they are motion sensitive and not at all discriminating. It's hard to understand how such a stupid robot could be considered an effective weapon, defensive or offensive. But there's obviously something about this we don't understand." Another woman spoke, not one Emma recognized. Probably one of the new councillors elected to replace the two killed in the disaster. "Have there been any other attempts to send a vehicle into the area?" "No. Our first few attempts were destroyed before they could reach the Eden site, and before they could return much useful data. We do know that the second vehicle, which was sent in weeks after the first, didn't get as far before it stopped transmitting. That suggests whatever is causing this damage is spreading, and gives us an approximate rate of spread. It seems pointless to try again, unless we know more about what this menace is and how it works. The fact that some of the machinery in Eden continues to function, most notably the power plant, suggests that there may be some ways to resist the effect." Kozu asked, "Could this be related to the increase in geological activity, or Eden's reported terraforming experiments?" Emma sighed. "It's very premature to make any such pronouncements. We know they were working on terraforming, and this could be somehow related to our volcanic problems. But this," she gestured at the screen, "could be something completely different. Perhaps related to their weapons programs. Eden was obviously engaged in multiple lines of clandestine and dangerous research." "Back up," interjected Salish. "You said you had an estimate on the rate of movement of this, whatever it is. Does it present an immediate danger to our new colony site?" This was the question she had been dreading. "Not in the short term. And we have other, more immediate problems. We are in danger of another volcanic eruption." Salish was incredulous. "Near the colony?" "Perhaps right under the colony. Possibly much worse than the last one. Lights." Councillor Kozu was visibly standing, palms on the meeting table, as the lights in the room came up and the images faded. "Elder, I mean no disrespect, but you personally assured us the new site was stable when we settled here." "It was stable when we settled here. Things have changed. Our entire journey lay along a region of past geological instability, where two of the plates in New Terra's trenches... The New Terra's cross once met. In fact, it was a region of plate forming equivalent of a deep ocean trenches on old Earth. But of course, there have never been large oceans on this planet, and no bodies of water at all within the time of human history. The last volcanism along this plate boundary took place while the ancestors of man were living in caves and making stone tools. The problem is, that isn't very long in geological terms. This site should be safe, but it isn't. Whatever we thought we knew about the geology of the planet has changed. New Terra was in the process of dying geologically. It wasn't quite dead when we arrived, and whatever is happening now is like picking the scab of a fresh wound. It's going to bleed." Salish leaned back in her chair, a long red hair cascading over the back of it. "That's a very colorful metaphor, Elder, but how could such a thing happen? I thought we were prepared this time." "That's what we mean to find out. That's why I'm asking for your support of an expedition, not into, but to the very edge of the affected area. Perhaps then, through careful investigation, we can find out what's causing the instability, and what exactly happened to Eden." The newcomer raised her hand, a tall woman with a nose ring and hair trimmed into a blonde skull cap. I don't see how we can support this when, if what you're telling us is true, we must be prepared for the possibility of another evacuation. Especially, she glanced at Kozu, and we're also continuing this absurd weapons program to defend against an enemy that may be dead. Kozu glanced at her. We have to assume that some people escaped the colony and they will have at least some of their weapons with them. It isn't clear what these eruptions, if related to some man-made event, aren't a hostile move by Eden. It is also quite suspicious that we were unable to regain control of the observer satellite and that the jamming signals are coming from the Eden site. It could simply be a malfunction in the satellite station. It could also be, insisted Kozu, that this so-called disaster in Eden is some kind of smokescreen. Possibly the satellite is being jammed to cover the fact that they've returned, made repairs, and have begun massive military buildup. Salish rolled her eyes. That's absurd. Nothing but paranoia. The other councillors started breaking in, and Emma could see that a fight was about to erupt. If Mercedes as an elder gave her any power at all, now was the time to use it. Please, please, all of you have theories, but they're only that without the facts to back them up. That's all I want. A very limited array of resources, a few vehicles, a few scientists, some equipment and supplies to return facts. Unbiased scientific facts. She scanned their faces to see how they were reacting. They at least seemed to be listening to what she had to say. That's an admirable goal, don't you agree? They were slow to respond. Kozu nodded, and then Salish, and then the others, one by one. The few that didn't seem to support that idea were at least quiet and passive in their objections. Emma smiled. Good, then let's get a vote on this so that the party can begin. As she often did, Emma walked the length of the double-wide tunnel that formed the colony's piazza, its public market, in order to judge the public mood. As was normal for midday, the place was crowded and lively, jammed with shoppers, people taking lunch from their carts, selling spicy rice burritos and vegetable bento boxes, displays of handmade clothing and decorative items, and musicians playing for donations or simply for their own amusement. To a casual observer, it seemed a happy and relaxed place. Emma knew better. The steel drummers and syntherists worked just a little too hard to brighten their tunes. The diners wolfed their food down with a bit too much urgency. The bikes and pedal cars rang their bells a bit too loudly at blocking pedestrians, and the haggling over goods was a bit too combative. Only the children, running through the crowd, playing, watching the entertainers, were unaffected, oblivious to the dangers around them. It was a stark contrast. Plymouth was feeling the pressure, feeling the fear, and she worried how this would ultimately express itself. Emma thought the Plymouthers to be too gentle and childlike for their own good. She was with them, but not a part of them, and she sometimes found their ways at least a little annoying. Now they seemed almost tragic. They were unsuited, unprepared for the possibility of war, of the harsh realities that survival might demand. They were resilient, adaptable, but more would be required of them, and she wondered if they could harden up in time to survive. What did we do, Axon? In many ways, in splitting the colony, they ended up reinforcing the worst characteristics of both groups. The Plymouthers were too fuzzy-headed and idealistic, the Edenites too hard-edged and exploitative. If there had ever been a happy medium, it had gone away the day half of Eden had departed to form their own splinter colony. It was ironic. Neither she nor Axon really fit in the new communities they created, though they were at least somewhat temperamentally aligned with their respective colonies. Emma believed that they should try to live on New Terra on its own terms, and explore any drastic change of the environment gradually. Axon thought terraforming, making New Terra as Earth-like as possible, was an admirable goal, but he believed that such a plan had to come about through consensus for all its inhabitants. Now it seemed it might have been too late for either of them to get what they wanted. Events had passed them by in ways Emma didn't even understand yet. Wu looked up from his clipcom and watched as she walked across the crowded lab and slumped into a swivel chair. His eyebrows went up questioningly. Well? She looked at him and nodded. We won. We'll start making preparations tomorrow. Oh, why so glum then? Because we have very minimal allocation of resources. because we'll probably have to cut corners, and that will have to make a potentially dangerous job even more dangerous. Because I have no idea what we're up against, or even how to investigate it, much less fight it. Your friend Moon would know. She sighed. Wu was the only person in Plymouth whom she had shared knowledge of her communication with Axon. She thought sharing that with a trusted associate would make things easier. Sometimes it only made them more difficult. She glanced at the equipment rack in the corner where Frost was installed, silent and dark, perhaps dreaming again as it, so often did these days. Frost? The computer was slow to respond, but Emma crossed her arms over her chest and waited patiently. Yes, Emma? Please try to open a communication link to Axon. Another pause. No response. The control channels we have used for communication are still blocked by jamming from Eden. I've been trying to establish a link every 2 hours since the satellite station became operational. I know, Frost. Thank you. Please keep trying. Emma? Yes? I have an anomalous reading on the satellite. Would you like to hear about it? Please? This lab is equipped with a small telescope, and I have been observing the optical characteristics of the satellite. Its brightness is changing in what can only be described as an artificial and purposeful manner. Wu rubbed his forehead and stared at the computer. You're saying it's flashing or something? The light appears to be reflected from an external source, possibly on the ground. The spectra are similar to that of the observed Eden laser weapon. Emma's mouth opened wordlessly and she started to smile. If the satellite were jammed by accident, and if one had access to a powerful weapons laser, this would be another way of using the satellite to get a message through. Can you decode them single? It seems to be a compressed burst mode audio signal. The message repeats at random intervals with gaps of several hours to several days. I have recorded it, however, and I can play it for you. Go ahead. Axon, that crafty old fox, has found a way to get through. An audio tone announced the start of the playback. It was a man's voice, but it was definitely not Axon. This is a friend from Eden. My name is Eldon Jensen, and I'm a scientist in Eden working on various defense projects. The secrets of what happened are in Eden. Beware contamination. Go in at night. What you want is in the advanced labs. I'll send again when I can. End of message, announced Frost. Contamination? Night? This made less sense all the time. Wu made eye contact. It could be a trick. Emma nodded. He certainly could have provided more useful information. The message, said Frost, represents a grossly inefficient use of the limited bandwidth. Text only would have been thousands of times more efficient. Emma's fingers drummed on the lab bench as he thought. But he might suppose that a personalized voice message would be more likely to seem sincere, or more plausibly, he didn't think at all. He's a man with a guilty conscience who took a chance opportunity to send a message. No planning or forethought, certainly not the instincts of a trained spy. Wu rubbed the tip of his nose. Do you think it's genuine? I'm inclined to for the moment. Let's just hope that our friend in Eden isn't such a neophyte that he gets caught before he can provide us with some really useful information. At any rate, it tells us more about what we should be looking for. One thing was for sure. Her planned expedition was only the beginning. She whistled quietly to herself. I was just thinking of a phrase I once read, she said. Wu cocked his head. What? Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Quite grim. Alright, let's get on with the mission briefing. Commander, our colony has relocated as far from the quakes and lava as the limited supplies allowed. Our scientists are baffled by the cause of these events, but we may have an idea. Satellite images of Eden have revealed shocking data. The colony appears heavily damaged with almost no sign of activity at all. The images show unusual modifications to some structures and vehicles. We are astonished, but these modifications appear to be some type of weapons. We must find out what destroyed Eden and if the same fate awaits us. Our scientists believe with more research they can modify existing microwave power transmission technologies to provide us with some protection against Eden's weaponry. In the meantime, our current population and knowledge must be expanded to ensure our survival. The new standard lab will help us research useful technologies. An active nursery will allow us to expand our population and decrease infant mortality rates. An active university will allow us to train new workers and scientists. Cybernetic teleoperation research will allow us to build more vehicles and operate them remotely. Our scientists are concerned about more seismic and volcanic effects. We've also detected unusual atmospheric changes that may produce violent electrical storms. Keep enough evacuation transporter ready for an emergency. Word of our situation is spreading to the colonists. They are courageous people, but the morale is starting to ebb and flow. Do what you can to keep up their spirits. Morale will affect production rates at the factories, acrodomes and laboratories. Keeping morale high will also lower the mortality rate and increase birth rate. Computer detections have mapped our goals to ensure our survival. Right. Now, these are partially lying because we don't need to put them in the convects, but you know, let's just start. Because this mission is tricky. Because we have vastly limited resources to do what we need. Let's get started on the research though. With health maintenance. No. That's not what I want. It's the environmental psychology. Let's get started with that. Right, let's get all the trucks in on the business of moving ore. Alright, and now might as well explore this particular vein. I need more power. Let's get a tokamak online. Alright, the rest of you... Rest of the vehicles really need to be out of the way because they're just not needed. Now, we have 20 workers, 10 scientists and 30 children. We need loads more than that. Now, I want the environmental psychology to expand the use of the residents, but I don't have to build anymore because I am gonna need all the workers I can get.
Structure kit manufactured.
But for now, I really need to focus on actually getting the mission objectives going.
Mining location surveyed.
Right. It's fine. You can come back up here.
Research completed.
Right, now I need health maintenance. And then we can stop using any particular other means. Other things. Because what I really need to research is essentially the...
New worker ready.
Well, I do need the health maintenance, but I also need the emergency response systems, the cybernetic teleoperations, and getting the rest of this finished.
Is good.
But at least now the housing will support more people, which will keep our morale high. Which we'll need, because I've tried this mission a couple of times already, and I kept running out of kids. Which is no good.
Food production in surplus. Caution. Power levels marginal.
Ah, darn, I clicked on the wrong thing. That is no good. Health maintenance, please.
Warning. Seismic event detected.
Now, our resident Bane is over here. A volcano with 2 exits, so that will both
New
erupt.
Worker ready.
And will quickly overwhelm us. Right.
Structure completed.
Let that help.
Power levels optimal. Research completed.
And now, emergency response systems. Might as well get that going. And I will need 2 medical centers in order to get enough that I will be assured that the morale will not be negatively affected. The other systems that I will have to build, or that I can build, like the leisure center and the golf, which will also help with the morale, I kind of don't want to do, because that will require putting more workers in places where I don't really have them available. Right now I just want to make sure that I have more than enough.
New worker ready.
So that I also have a little bit of surplus that I can burn.
Morale is fair.
But Plymouth will always be struggling a little bit with science.
Seismic event detected.
Luckily it's not that much. struggling a bit with science because of, well, we just don't have enough scientists. Which will become particularly apparent once we get to a certain mission, but for now, this will have to do.
Structure completed. Structure disabled.
Alright, let's get one more going.
Production in surplus. Morale is good. Structure kit manufactured.
Right, now the other one.
Research completed. New worker ready.
Alright, cybernetic teleoperation. Because I could now build a dirt. I'm not
Power
going to do
levels
that,
optimal.
but I could. Instead, let's just start on the things we actually need, like an agrodome, a smelter kit. The agrodome is also something of a concern,
Warning. Seismic event detected.
but for now it will do fine, and I
Morale
should have
is
enough
fair.
food banked up before things go bad. Right, they're not happy about the lack of getting anything too much. That sense
New
it makes
worker
sense.
ready.
Didn't make sense, but
Structure completed. Structure disabled.
alright. That should do fine. So for now we'll have more than enough. I mean, I may run out of residence space, but for now we should really be fine. And I will want to have 3 workers available so I can build the vehicle
Morale
factory.
is good. Structure kit manufactured.
Alright, let's get the agrodome finished. That's a quick structure. Because I will probably run out of scientists before the end.
Structure kit manufactured.
Alright, let's see, what else do I need? A tokamak kit. Now, of course, building these now does fill up the structure factory since it can only store 6 kits, but
New
you know,
worker ready.
that's fine.
Food production in surplus. Morale is fair.
Alright,
Research completed.
let's get the
New
focused
mission objective.
focused microwave projection
Warning.
so I can get the
Seismic
weapon.
event detected.
And I do need to be a little bit careful about the seismic events because they tend to completely break whatever I want to have.
Structure
Child
kit
born,
manufactured.
good. Vehicle
Power
factory.
levels optimal.
But for now, as long as this is positive, should be fine. Right. Damage on that is still manageable.
Seismic event detected.
Right, luckily not heavy enough to have any real impact.
New worker ready.
I generally feel it's not worth activating the training program unless you have at least 2 workers available. Not a child born. Good. Still not at the limit at what we need. Yeah, luckily Plymouth can
Structure
easily
kit
cram
manufactured.
so many people in their buildings. I mean, essentially Eden has the same technology, but you know, they are a little bit more luxury based, whereas Plymouth doesn't feel like it's necessary for that much luxury. Because Plymouth
New
does have
worker ready.
some buildings that are different. Now, as much as I might want to turn...
Electrical storm detected.
Yeah. As much as I may want to turn some of these workers into scientists to just make sure that I don't run
Food
out,
production in surplus.
which I'm
Morale
very
is
likely to.
fair.
Workers do produce more children, so until I have certainty that I will not run out of children, I'll just hold off on training scientists. Although hopefully that will not be much of a problem.
Power levels optimal.
Just as long as we don't get negatives from
Research complete.
unemployment. Alright, let's start going with mobile weapons platform. Let's keep focusing on the things we actually need. Let's get you out of the way, because
New worker ready.
of course that storm is going to be taking me over. It can't really break my tokamak because of the heavy armor, but since the tokamak is willing to destroy itself quite easily and it has any damage, this is just gonna be annoying. Alright, come on, finish the building. Luckily, tokamaks are not really dangerous unless you're standing directly next to them when they explode. And of course, the EMP burst they give out when they go boom is a bit annoying, but very manageable.
Structure repaired. Structure
Alright, there we go. One robo miner.
New worker ready.
We still do not have enough children.
Morale is good.
But morale is good. Yep. All is still well.
Vehicle ready.
Right. 2 scouts.
Food production in surplus. Vehicle ready. Warning. Seismic event detected.
Oh crap.
Morale is fair.
Well, looks like nothing was seriously damaged, but I'll
Vehicle ready.
top off that particular thing. Alright, so now I need to have
Power
lynxes.
levels optimal. New worker ready.
Alright, come on. Give me more kids. And part of the problem is also that the kids are starting to grow up. Which I really wish they stop. Alright, give me the weapons
Warning.
platform, because...
Electrical storm detected.
Ah, great.
Structure repaired.
Because I can build the laser guard, or the microwave
Warning.
guard post.
Seismic event detected.
Stop it. Stop shaking. Alright, come on. Give me what I need. Give me what I need.
Research completed.
About damn time.
New worker ready.
Alright, let's get volcanology. Because we will need it. Scientist has died. Darn. Alright, nothing for it. I need to train. Get out of the way again.
Vehicle ready.
Alright. Repair that building again.
Food production in surplus. Vehicle ready. New worker ready. Morale is good. Power levels optimal. Vehicle ready. Structure repaired. Warning. Seismic event detected. Morale is fair.
Alright, it's not doing anything, so just let it be.
Vehicle ready.
And I'll just make some more cargo trucks so I can remove the rest of the things out of the way. Anything else I can accomplish for the end is just a bonus.
New worker ready. Vehicle ready. Warning. Seismic event detected. Warning. Seismic event detected.
Alright, nothing too serious.
Structure repaired.
How many children do I have?
Warning. Electrical storm detected.
30. We're close.
Vehicle ready. New worker ready. Food production in surplus. Power levels optimal.
Alright, I don't need the university anymore, I think, so I'll just assign every scientist I have to research.
Warning. Volcanic eruption detected.
And that's when the shit hits the fan.
Research completed.
Right, high temperature conductivity.
Morale is fair.
Right, let's just start pulling them out of that, because this will quickly spread. And then I'm fucked.
Structure repaired.
Alright.
Structure repaired. Research completed.
Alright, let's keep researching hydroponic growing media. Go.
Food production in surplus.
And we should have all the metals we need. We have all the kids, we just need the metals on the trucks and then we're gone. I am so nervous, I'm gonna save because this has screwed me over before.
Morale is fair.
And the lava is spreading far too quickly.
Warning. Electrical storm detected.
Luckily we have some spare
Warning.
scientists.
Seismic event detected. Research completed.
Advanced vehicle power plant. I don't think we're gonna finish it, but you know. Because we are out of here.
You have done well. Our colony is surviving.
And that's it for this episode. Thank you all for watching. See you all next time.